I haven't talked about the wedding in quite some time. So today's video is going to be about my wedding dress shopping experience in New York City. About a month or so ago, my sister and I went to New York City just to check out some bridal boutiques there, just to ensure that I was getting the full experience. I am very much over the process. I think I have what's it called, bridal dress fatigue at the moment, but I wanted to push on and I wanted to experience the bridal salons in New York City just because I've been hearing so much about it. So of course I went to the big three, as some people may call them. I went to Kleinfeld, which is everyone's favorite. I went to Bridal Reflections, and I went to Lovely Bridal. Now, before I really give you guys my opinions, my thoughts, I just want to say that my style, my taste is different than yours, more than likely. So take what I say with a grain of salt, because I don't want to sway your decision if you want to go to New York City. I'm just giving you my honest opinion, and then you can extrapolate or take from that what you must. This is just my experience. Just don't want to like crush your dreams or anything like that. So Kleinfelds, we'll start with Kleinfelds. Honestly, I went in with mixed emotions, mixed feelings. I still wasn't too sure if I wanted to go to Kleinfelds, just because it was just, you know, just hype surrounding it. So I made my appointment, paid my deposit, or the whatever fee you have to pay. And then my sister and I went. So the first thing that I noticed in comparing it to the first bridal salon was that it was massive, and it was just so much people. It was a lot of people. My appointment was 10 a.m. They opened like 10 as well. So I was one of the first appointments for the day. And it was ram-packed. Like, I was like, is this the club? Like, what is going on? And so, you know, of course, it was only me and my sister. Most people came with 4 people. So I would want to say that's probably why it was so many people, but I digress. So when it was time for us to get settled in, the setup of Kleinfelds is very, I guess, open concept. You have like a big room with your dresses on the outskirts, and then you have like the, I don't know, I'm probably gonna misname it, but it's maybe like bridal salon slots, I don't know, where your family and friends sit for you to come out and parade in your dress. Now, with me going to Atlanta, I think that probably did me a disservice, because I had my own private room. If I wanted to bring friends and family, we would have our own private space. So I don't know if that's what I thought going into Kleinfeld's, the experience, that I would have a more private kind of appointment, but it was not private at all. And that for me was a bit disappointing, because I have anxiety. I'm not as extroverted, and I feel like because this is such a special moment, I don't want to share it with a room full of people. And that's what I felt the appointment was like. It was just really, it was like a farm, you know? Everyone can see you walking out in the front of everybody, and I just didn't like that environment just because of the type of person I am. I would have preferred something a little more private, but then, you know, what can you do? So anyway, I go to try on my dresses in the room. I had a very lovely salesperson. I want to put it out there. She was very, very nice, very accommodating, and I told her exactly what I wanted. They knew beforehand my choices, exactly what I wanted. But going in, I will say that there were not many choices for me, because Kleinfeld's, in my opinion, and from what I saw in the store, they're more of the, I don't want to say non-traditional, because I don't think that's what it is, but it was more of the lace, more of the beading, more of the more. It was just the bridal dresses that most people, I guess, gravitate to. So I am the outlier here. I don't want those things. So I simply wanted something that was specific and simple. And they probably only had about maybe 3 choices max for me to try on what was in my head. You know, I want y'all to have this, this, and this. I don't want this and this and this. And they were more for the bride that wanted the lace and wanted the bling and wanted the big names and the panina tournays and this and that. You know, I guess that's their thing. And so I wish I had done my due diligence. I felt like I did, and I felt like, well, this is Kleinfeld's, this is a big name, they would have something for everyone. And for me, I was just a little disappointed about that, because that classic look that I was looking for, it was not. I knew I wasn't gonna find it there, and I didn't find it there. When I tried on the first dress, I immediately knew this would be like a waste of my time, but I tried to be a good sport. I was already there, I already made the appointment, and so I was just like, you know what, let's try some dresses on. I tried on a panina tournay dress that was 80% what I wanted. It was beautiful, but I did not like the fabric choice. It was more of a soft crepe, I think, no, a soft satin material, but it was a little too soft for me. It was beautiful, but there was just something missing. It had a corseted back, which was a little too much for me. Beautiful for someone else, but it was just not for me. I tried on a ball gown just to get that image out of my mind, because growing up I always wanted a ball gown dress, and I was like, you know, it's gonna swallow me. And when I tried it on, it swallowed me. It was the hardest thing to walk in. I just felt like it was just too weighty. I tried on things that were outside of my comfort zone, just to have something to try on. And there was something that I really liked. It was a very beautiful form-fitting dress, but I didn't like the embroidery. It was just a bit too much. So for me, the experience itself was a bit disappointing, because I wanted that privacy. I wanted to have that selection that I had in the first bridal salon in Atlanta, which I did not find. So if I tried on 10 dresses in Atlanta, I probably only found about 3 or 4 in Kleinfeld. And so those were the two cons that I had about Kleinfeld, honestly. The pros, I guess, was just visiting this establishment that everybody knows, everybody hypes up. And I guess the sales assistant was just the sweetest person. You know, she tried to accommodate me as best as I could, but it just wasn't working out for me. All in all, I guess I'm still happy that I went, just to get that out of my head, just to know that, well, I tried on things that I would not necessarily want to wear. I was open, I kept an open mind, but it just did not work out. So if you're going to Kleinfeld's, do your research. And so moving on to the second salon, where did I go? The second salon I went to was Lovely Brides. And this is more of an indie store. And I honestly just went there just to fill my schedule. So they sell more of the whimsical dresses, the boho chic dresses. They had some very nice pieces. They're located in Soho. And walking in the salon, let me just say this, I was very impressed by the layout. It was a beautiful salon, pink, very Instagrammable. But the one thing that I loved was the layout. I had my own private room. When I went for my appointment, there was no one in there, which I loved. So there was that privacy. There was, the staff were very helpful. But again, the problem that I ran into was the type of dress, because I don't want to say that they don't cater to the simple, but they just didn't have what I was looking for. I tried on 2 dresses. I tried on 3 dresses. I tried on one that was totally outside of my comfort zone, which was a beaded strapless dress. The second I tried on was it was like a kind of, I don't know, it was a crepe dress. Wasn't a fan of the material. I kind of liked it, but not for a wedding, not for my wedding, maybe like a ball or something like that. And the third dress I tried on was the closest thing to what I would have wanted for my wedding, but I wasn't sold on it. It was beautiful, mind you. And the other issue is because they work with more independent, smaller labels, the timing that you would need to order your dress in order to have it for your wedding was like, shoots. I want to say she said it was a long time. I don't want to misquote her, but it was like 8 months or something like that. It was really outrageous in my opinion, but I understand they're smaller labels, they have less resources, less material to work with, not material, but they just don't have the big kind of operations that the bigger brands have. So it would have taken a longer amount of time, and I still wasn't sure about the dress, so I couldn't commit in that moment. And in order for me to have gotten my dress on time, I would have needed to commit at that very moment, and I'm like, that's not something I can do. So for me, Lovely Bridal, if you are a boho chic bride, you want something different, you want that privacy, you have time to spare, like you are shopping way in advance, this is a lovely option for you if you are in New York City. I loved everything about this boutique, except the fact that they didn't have many options for me. But other than that, I really enjoyed the overall visit. I loved it. Like honestly, it was just nothing for me, but overall the vibe, the attention that they paid me, it was really lovely. The last bridal salon that I tried, I had high hopes for, because a girlfriend of mine got her dress from me. Actually, 2 people I know got their dresses from here, so I was like, okay, the first 2 locations was a fail, so hopefully this one has more options. And this one was Bridal Reflections. This one was on, I think, 5th Avenue. And I went in, and then I was like, I was assigned my the person that would have been helping me for the day. And honestly, when I walked in and I started to look around, I could tell that this wouldn't have been a good appointment. So anyway, it was nothing there that I wanted at all, and I was simply trying on dresses for the hell of it. So if my appointment was 90 minutes, I probably only spent like 30 minutes in there, because it was just, I was over it. It was like nothing that I wanted. I tried on one dress that was really nice, but for the dress, I don't think it was worth the price. I was like, I don't love this dress. I'm not in love with this dress. And so it just doesn't even make sense. And so after I tried on a dress that was the closest to what I wanted, clean, simple, I started trying on just like really off the wall stuff, lace stuff, see-through stuff, things that was way over my budget, just to kill time. And then I got frustrated. I'm like, I'm done. Like it just doesn't even make sense. But yeah, Bridal Reflections is again like Kleinfeld. If you're looking for more of the lace, the shimmer, the X factor, the names, then you should try them. But for me, it was a dud. And honestly, I don't think the selection was just that great, you know. And all in all 3 of the stores that I went to in New York City, I will say that I'm so shocked that I had a better time in Atlanta at a very small bridal store than I did in the big city. And I'm also shocked that I had way more to choose from in Atlanta. Like I would think like New York is the epicenter of fashion. You know, they're gonna have what I want. I didn't feel like it was anything for me there. And so my advice to you when bridal shopping is be aware of your needs, of course. And I feel like a part of me knew that I wasn't gonna find much on this trip. I just went along to go along. And it's just very shocking to me that I still cannot believe that Atlanta bested New York City. That was just shocking for me. So my advice to you is, if you're shopping for your wedding dress, start at home. If you live in Atlanta, you live in Florida, you know, don't just automatically say, oh, I'm gonna go to Kleinfeld's because it's this big name and it's fancy and it's well known and it has a cult following. Trust me. And that is going to do it for this video. Thank you guys for watching. If you have visited any of the 3 salons that I have visited and you had a totally different experience than I did, I would love to know, like, is it me? Am I tripping? Was I just having a bad day? I would love to hear your experience. You know, I'm different. You know, I don't want a lot of stuff. And so Maybe it's just me, but thank you guys for watching. I will have a few more wedding updates coming soon, so you don't want to miss those out. If you're not subscribed, now would be a good time to do so, and I will see you right here for the next video.